I'll let you go sit. Now, today, because of what I want to pass across, I'm going to stay very close to my notes. It's important to me. And even so, it may be some of the nuggets, you may still be able to use it, but more importantly, there are certain things that you want to start to set in the life of your children to see a total breakthrough in so many areas. The magnitude of a small difference. I've preached around this topic in different tweaks. At one time, I preached about the significance of the insignificant. The significance of the insignificant. Now, I call this the magnitude of small difference. And the second one, which I will go into as well, is the power of small. The magnitude of a small difference. I found myself talking to my first son some years ago about looking towards the future, and I remembered myself telling him something I came to realize but was not opportuned to do when I was his age. You remember, by the time you get to a place, you know that you want to make sure that your children work. You see, your work will set your path of success and some things that are not very successful, so that when you have been through that path, you can always tell the ones coming behind you, don't do this. I did it, I stumbled. The matured pastors, the young one goes to them and say, okay, this is what I want to do. They say, well, if you take this path, it cost me 3 years. It cost me 5 years. Do this. Because by the time you get to the fork in the road, you need somebody that has been through it to show you how to work, due to their own experience that they found during their time and process. So I did not have the exposure and the opportunity that he had at that time. So this was the advice I gave him. I told him, from seminar that I was able to attend, if you will save $50, you guys are rumbling and disturbing the flow. If you can save $50 every 2 weeks for 40 years in a compound yielding investment package, you will become a millionaire. My son is here. You can ask him. I told him that time. But that time he was 25. So, and I'll break it down for him. I said, now at 25, if you will save $100 every 2 weeks for 5 years to catch up, right? And then drop back to $50 every 2 weeks for the remaining 35 years, by the time you are 40, you're a million. By the time you do it for 40 years, which means when you become 60, you're a millionaire. Now, a lot of you are not, you've gone past the age, but it's something you can inculcate into your children. When they are 20, $50 every 2 weeks. Paycheck is every 2 weeks. The worst, you will make $180. The worst, that is even not, at least $250 every 2 weeks. The $50, just put it in the compound yielding interest for 40 years. By the time you are 60, you're a millionaire. So I told him this. I am not sure, I know definitely he didn't do it. He didn't do it. I know very well. For one to be able to pursue such a goal requires strong discipline. You discipline yourself to form a habit. When the habit is formed, it's difficult to start. It kicks in. You know, this is one thing about habits. When you start it, it's always difficult and painful. And that is where discipline is needed. I take the two kids now, Zion and Christian, to karate class, the one by the restaurant, because I can't travel long. My schedule. So Christian was so eager, he was so happy, but by the time they tell them to put their leg up and the man will be counting 1 to 20 and he said it's painful. And the instructor told me that it needs to be painful now because the joints are stiff, and after a while it will be easy. See the way they can just bend and sit on there and sit and put the I said, okay. So when Zion came in, he already had a little experience. He was just shining like that, but Christian was struggling and said, my leg hurts. But you see, it is called what you put in there to develop a habit might be difficult, might be painful, might require a lot from you, but when you get the habit formed, it is an easy ride. So to put apart $50 every 2 weeks for 40 years, I know that somebody will be saying that I'm going to tell Korede right now the moment he hit 20. And Tinuke and the rest of them. It is better. You try it. Try it. All right. So this is where I'm going to. This is where I'm going in to save $50 every 2 weeks. It's just like saying to somebody that has never tithed before, start to tithe. Oh, whoa! What do you say now to tithe? How much? Just 10%. Man, 10% is a lot because God gave you a lot. When you are making $200 a week, 10% is only what? 20. And when you are making $20,000 a week, now you say it's a lot. Who is giving you the whole big one? Yeah. A tenth of your earning, or perhaps a different target savings that you have to adhere to. Whatever it is, once the system is formed, it becomes a habit. It becomes much easier to do. So, to be rich, you have enough to save up for your future endeavors. And in order to be able to succeed in life, you require a huge amount. You don't need a huge amount of money. Just a little, consistently, over a period of time, becomes big. So I'm talking about the significance of small difference. I'm talking about the magnitude of a small difference over time. I'm talking about small adjustment that we make to our lives that consistently over time can turn around to become a huge difference. The one that is struggling with weight. You don't need to go and do some serious, some people, you start to starve yourself, you start to why not just 30 minutes walk a day? Continuously, every day. There's a lady right here, the office is back further down. The lady walks around this block like kind of 20 times a day, and we saw her before our very eyes. After a while, she started to drop. She started to lose the weight continuously. Maybe she did it for about 4 or 5 months without any noticeable difference, but all of a sudden, it didn't just start to. When you keep on doing something consistently, just a little, not a big one. There's a lady that I know. She paid the note on her car in 4 straight years. And she didn't take money from her salary. And what she was telling me, I said, explain to me. She said, whenever I collect my tax refund, I put it in an account. Assuming our tax return is just 4,000. Her car note is 300. She collect the tax return, put it in a separate account, and write automatic withdrawal. 300 into 4, how many 300 and 4,000? About 13. Every month, they just take from her tax return, they take 300, and her salary remains her full money. So the next tax season, she put another 4,000 or maybe 5,000, this or maybe 4,500. She put it there, and automatically, so it's like she got the car for free. Discipline and persistency. You just keep doing it. Not a whole big chunk, just a little at a time. I'm talking about the magnitude. The one that is struggling. Okay, now finish that one. Let me go to the next one. Permit me to quote. I said I would keep to my note, but then I keep saying something. Permit me to quote from the favorite book. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. So will poverty kneel like an armed man. A little folding of the hands to rest. So will your poverty come like a prowler, and your kneel like an armed man. You can see here that a habit has been formed way back. The habit being napping here a little, sleeping there a little. Although this is not a one-time event, a little folding of the hands over time leads to sudden and irreversible poverty that plunges you into the wall of need. It's a little. It's a little. What gives power to this thing called small is time. There was a guy that I used to know, this now maybe over 40 years ago, when we used to be rascally, do what we need to do. My wife is looking at me. When we used to drink and we used to smoke, she doesn't do that. I did it even before me. So when we go to drink, but thank God, then you know that things have changed so drastically now. The biggest deal that we did was cigarette, but now they do that. But this guy, every time he's smoking, he will be lamenting, almost crying, sad. If you want to smoke, smoke. If you want to move away from here. It will be so, you can feel the pain, but he couldn't get out of it. It has become a habit. But it started small one day, tasted it and cough, and then tasted it the next day and cough, and before you know it, it becomes a habit, and habit is difficult to knock off. So, but for God, you see, we have different paths, we have different journey. We are called for different assignment. I didn't even pay mine to him. I drink my little stout and I smoke my Henges and Benson and Hedges. And when the Lord will do his miraculous work, no 6-step program, no, boom, everything just kill off like that. So when you see people doing something, don't emulate them. You don't know their path. You don't know their journey. And then people will smoke cigarettes to the point they start to cough. When they start to cough, they need the super grace. But they join the group. And that is why they continue to say that the friends you keep today is a prophetic statement of what you're going to be tomorrow. Pick your friends. And some of you are siding, you are linking up with friends. It can be poisonous and contagious. You become like them unknowingly. Small. The significance of small. If you say the man is dumb, he doesn't know time, we'll tell. Okay. What gives power to this thing called small is time. What the time does to this small difference in behavior is that it incubates the behavior into a habit. Once a habit kicks in, man just goes with the flow. So with the chipping away of productive time by a little folding of the hands and a little extra sleep, a little midday nap, makes seconds to turn to minutes and minutes to hours, hours to day, days to week, weeks to month, months to year of wasteful and productive time, and it allows laziness to creep in to the persons unnoticed because it comes little by little. You say just a little thing doesn't matter. It matters a lot. This small adjustment in lifestyle will work positively for you when channeled in a productive path of work, or negatively for you when pursued in an unproductive path. How come some people attain certain age, they say, well, I cannot go to school no more. I've already passed the stage. Well, I can't go and start working for UPS that will be just paying me $16. My mates are now making $42. But when they were going there, what stops you from going there when you are young and just time's been wasted in pursuing a couple of different things? And when you have to, where I came from, if you do not pass, they don't promote you to the next class. And when you want to repeat the class that you failed out of, you feel you are too old. You feel a little bit, because time already is passing by. A little folding of hands, a little forming the gang. You've been the popular man. You know, the popular men in campus, they don't become a whole lot of things when they're little. Because they start to enjoy everything there, and they think that is the peak of life. But life depends on hard work to make things happen. A little snap, a little sleep, a little folding of hands, then poverty. It's a little. It's a little. What kind of adjustments are we ready to make? Even as you are reading this article, it's an article I wrote. Turn around and search deep. You've heard the slogan that says, Rome was not built in a day. It took little contribution consistently over time for Rome to be what it is today. Before anything hits the point of irreversibility, adjustment can still be made. Nothing is over with. It starts with determination and consistency. Since one cannot go back to make a new beginning, but instead can begin from where he is to make a brand new ending. That's a possibility. I have an uncle who read biochemistry and went in and had his master's. And by the time he was 45, he went back to medical school. And he graduated as a doctor. Once you make a determination, and it's not working, go and make another redetermination and start again. It's a journey. It's a journey. Do not allow age to be a hindrance or the years you have lost to deter you from embracing change. You can start by examining where you are, where you are coming from, and where you plan to go. If you look at your pattern from your past and don't like what you see or don't like where it's leading you, you definitely know that continuing will only bring ruin for the future. It is time to make a determination or a redetermination to alter the pattern or lifestyle or displeasing habit just by a little. A little. Just a little. There's a lady, she just graduated from university and she went in and did master's in criminology, and she finished and she had no job. She's a lady. And when I tried to link her with one of a high court judge, and that one was saying, did she read law? I said, no, she read this, then she did a master in criminology. The only way that can be useful is if they send her to be like a detective, underground, whatever, to be seeking. That's the only way. So, and I decided that, okay, how much are you making at your last place where you had an intern? She explained it, and I said, okay. It comes down to like $40. I said, okay, I'll be sending you $50 every month. This lady, I can tell, jumped up. She was praying for me. The level, the intensity of prayer. I said, this means a lot to her. But it's a little. So I packaged the plan, and I instructed someone, send her $50 every. And she said, I will surprise you, sir. You will see what I'm going to do with the money, sir. It's a little. How many people will benefit from your just a little? At a time, a little. At a time, just a little. I just came back from Pakistan about 4 weeks ago, and I explained the horror that I saw there. Now I'm putting together a group chat. With this group chat, I have about 16 names, pastors and individuals that are even non-pastors, people whose hearts are on fire, seeing the devastating effect of what people thrown in fire. A 7-month-old pregnant woman thrown in furnace and she burned to death. When I remember, when you slaughter a chicken and the chicken is not fully dead and you try to put hot water, you see the leg like this. That was how that lady stretched until she got burnt to completely. And if God is pricking your heart, just a little, in that WhatsApp, I included the names of those my spiritual children that are the head of the ministry. I included their number so they can be singing, and you can even interact with them directly. And we're going to be posting a whole lot of different clips and pictures of people like you and I that have been redeemed with the blood of Jesus, that the enemy now put back in bondage, that we now will have to go and redeem them with money. By you putting just a little. I instruct Mr. Kule to set the names together. I look at it today, all the names are not yet there, but he's working on it. Just a little of your time at a time. Yeah. I happen to be one of the 1.3 million people that watched Louis Farrakhan's conversion video on Facebook. Now, whether that was genuine or just a stage, I didn't know. But while he was saying it, we felt deeply that this was like a conversion story. Okay, he was the teacher of the Nation of Islam, and in his video, he talked about his next step, citing that he will have to pay a price for the 40 years of his teaching. He's talking about the next step. It looks to me that this 84-year-old man wasn't looking at his age, nor the years he has been teaching this religion. The age was not a barrier, and years of involvement is not a hindrance. He made a determination, and in this case, a redetermination, because his first determination was to go Islam. And he said he will now go back to now start to reteach that Jesus is the Lord. I haven't taught this same or the opposite thing for 40 years. He decided to go back again and start again to start to lay it the way it should be. Did I hear a general overseer of a popular church digging deep, saying that he would need to spend the rest of his year remolding the doctrine he has presented to the people over the years? Did they say the TV is the demon box? And now when evangelists go through the TV to preach, you see that say, no, it's not difficult to hear where you are and to go back and go redo whatever it is, because the end is what justifies. So, this is where that takes us. Do not forsake the little one. Do not undermine the small beginning. The second article, and this article, by the way, they attracted up to 5,000 likes and almost 1,000 comments on Discovery for Men's Forum. You can check it, Discovery for Men's Forum, on our Facebook page. Now, I checked the page yesterday, we have 235,000 followers. It dropped over the years from 300,000 followers. But we are back to bring it back up, because we believe it's a platform that God has given to us to be able to touch souls. And we're not going to let that just go. The second article is the power of small. Maybe this may sound oxymoronic, but actually small is big. Small is powerful. When small is allowed to breathe, depending on the trend, it can become a great blessing or a mighty destructive opposition. I find this quote very suitable for this topic. It is the little words you speak, the little thoughts you think, the little things you do or leave undone, the little moments you waste or use wisely, the little temptation which you yield to or overcome, the little things of every day that are making or marring your future. Is the little one. Is the little one. The Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 15, also acknowledges the damaging effect when small is allowed to stray unattended in the wrong direction. In a quote that has become very popular in the Christian cycle, the little foxes are ruining the vineyard. Consider the giant sequoia. Anybody heard of the giant sequoia? It's North American tree. The tree that can reach up to 300 feet or more in height, with up to 26 feet in diameter, and whose back measures up to 3 feet at chest level. Imagine cutting the tree up to 3 feet. You have not reached the trunk itself. Up to 3 feet. That is why fire can't destroy that tree, because it's so thickly protected. And the root system goes up to 50 feet in the ground. The size of the tree has been described as occupying several acres by itself. That is huge. The tree, when chopped down, is enough to build 6 3-bedroom flats. 1-3. 6-bedroom apartments. As humongous as this tree is by description, in sharp contrast to its size is the seed. The seed is so tiny, like a little grain, that will produce something. So you do not belittle small. Small is big. And so you see how such a tiny seed can produce such a humongous tree. Let's look at it another way. It is a little stream that gathers together to make a big river and eventually entire sea. Little stream. Somebody was saying to me, with my insurance, home nurse visits me once a year. It's packaged into the insurance. And they will take your pressure, take this, everything, and they will ask you everything, and they will tell you how to dispose of unused medication. They say, don't flush it in the toilet, and don't do it, give it to. I say, okay, so I used to flush my unused one to the toilet because I don't want the little one to. He said, no, you can't do that. I said, why? He said, because it flows down into the stream. Just a little. Pour in the toilet can end up going to the stream and pollute the water at the end of the day. I said, oh, I didn't know that. Zechariah 4:10 talks about the small things with admonition not to despise them because of the realization of what small can become. Job chapter 8 verse 7 took it to the next level, stating that little ends up becoming much. This is where I'm heading. Since small things are not really small, but huge, mighty, powerful, and with an appeal not to despise, which I will interpret to mean not to belittle, not to look down upon, not to ignore, or even kick to the side. After all, a rooster comes from an egg. I don't want to bore you. I just want you to catch. This is something that I probably will print and give to you so you can cut it and put it in a glass and read it and so you can continue to remind yourself. You don't discount small beginnings, but always cherish the power of small. We are obliged to cherish the small, to pay attention to the little, and not to despise them simply because they are little. You're probably wondering in the practical sense of it, how can this be? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. That one step is a landmark because it starts a journey of 1,000 miles. A lot of magnificent ventures, projects, businesses that we now see today started in the form of a seed and then was nurtured into reality. The way to the top of the tree is always from the ground. And nobody gets to the top except if he carefully considers and determines how to make the first step towards climbing the tree. Joshua was told, and when they were talking about the promise today, I would say, okay, all right. Joshua was told in Joshua 1:8, for success and prosperity, to study the word. Don't neglect the book. Cherish the book. Meditate on it. And do this day and night. If you look at the end, seemingly simple and little instruction of reading the word, it makes you successful and make you to prosper. Now, the kind of money that passes from generation to generation is this type that builds up over time. If you see parents that are very rich, that have money, they call it cold money. It's a little over long time that builds up to become that kind of money. And you see children born into that kind of affluence lifestyle, they need to know how to keep it so that it will continue to multiply and grow the way it's supposed to be. Now, the kind of money that passes from generation to generation is the type that builds up over time, starting very little and building up over the years, even decades. This brought me to the biography of J.C. Penney. If you know the story of J.C. Penney, J.C. Penney, being 7 out of 12 children to a no-salary pastor who had to farm to sustain his family, see the humble beginning. See the beginning that a lot of people will consider as trash. In September 1875, being one of 6 to survive to maturity, growing up, he was taught the value of money. He had to raise funds to buy his own clothing, which he did by raising pigs and selling them. He later farmed watermelons to meet the needs for school. His first job paid him $25 a month. An opportunity came his way when he was hired by T.M. Callahan to work in the chain merchant store in 1899 with a salary of $50 a month. He pulled off from there, venturing into retail, and later branched out and started his own retail store, which we know today as J.C. Penney. Did I mention the fact that at one point he bought a butcher shop and went bankrupt rather than donate whiskey to a cook? A cook demanded a bribe of whiskey. He didn't, and they collided together and he went bankrupt. Yes, J.C. Penney was one of many success stories of prominent people we see today that started very humble beginning, those that did not despise the small beginnings. So Joshua was told to hold fast to the word, which turns around to give him success and prosperity. This is how you cherish little beginnings. Look at it as having a seed in your hand. For the little seed of small beginning to become big, you need to be able to nourish it. How do you do that? Prepare the ground by clearing the weeds. Apply fertilizers or manure. Pick up a spot that is exposed to sunshine. Put your seed in the ground. Provide adequate nourishment, water, and sun. Weed the grass off the ground for the young plant to be. Be patient for it to grow. In addition, rely on something greater than yourself. Skill is good. Creativity is good. It is good to rely on something greater than yourself. 1 Corinthians 6:3-6 says, Paul was stressing the importance of the God factor in whatever you do. He stressed in verse 7 that it is not the one who plants or water, but God that makes things grow. So in all that you do, rely not on your system, rely not on your understanding, rely not on your ability. Now take the God factor, having done all this, give it to God and stand. And that is all that is saying. A good education is wonderful. Creativity is important. But the God factor is necessary. And if God is going to be involved in anything you do, you should do it God's way. And that's where I'm going back to J.C. Penney. J.C. Penney refused to bribe a cook with whiskey when he owned a butcher shop and he went bankrupt. A temporary stumbling block turned around to become something mightier and greater. So see the way God works in the life of people. Don't emulate or imitate people that just do quick, get rich quick things. It never pays. If the butcher when he owns a butcher shop, if he didn't go through that by holding on to principles of God, he would still be today killing goats and rams, and that would have taken him far compared as to J.C. Penney's store. In addition, in nourishing the little beginning, persistence, perseverance, and focus all play good roles. We live in an age of microwaves, fast food, and drive-through. We cannot afford to wait for the right time, for the right opportunity, and for God's own timing. We are too much in a hurry. We do a lot of drive-through this day. Drive-through banking, drive-through food, drive-through pharmacy. Hey, drive-through church. You go to the drive-through church, say, give me one amen, three hallelujah. Hey. So it's a life of drive-through. So we are not used to waiting, and the patience is virtue. So we need that as well. So in nourishing the little, you do all this. Lack of patience has grown to get rich quick scam, bank robbery, gambling, scheming innocent people of their retirement money, 419 scheme, and a sale of holy water, and so on. Because we can't wait to nurture the little things for it to grow through God's grace. If we have someone caught up in the middle of all this, go back to the basics and start again. If you have someone caught up in the middle, when we say servant leader, it means people that serve their way to the top. Not scheming, not jumping queue, not jumping rank, but able to pursue consistently, and gradually you will see your reward. Discard not the little beginning, nurture to see with enthusiasm. Rome was not built in a day. Your success is guaranteed in the name of Jesus Christ. Let me tell you about the different things that people are doing around now that has been so frequent. If you have a text group, if you belong to a WhatsApp group, everybody should be I'm involved in so many. I don't even have time to read a lot of what they send in the group to me. But if you have a WhatsApp group, there are some people now overseas that breaks into this WhatsApp group and will lift all the names. And they will call you and be mentioning the kind of group. You will remember the group because you are part of the group. And they will tell you things like, there's a meeting The meeting is going to start in about an hour. You need this code to enter the meeting. They say, who is this? They will mention your real network group, the name, the title of your network, WhatsApp network group. If you punch that number, your account will run dry. They will go into your system. They will get all the names of the people there. They will start to solicit money on your behalf, and they will go into your deep. I'm not saying this to scare you. Join WhatsApp group. We are setting up a WhatsApp group. But when they call you to say, bring text this number for something, don't do it. Go back to the source. Whoever set up the WhatsApp group, call the admin to confirm. If you yield, if you keep down for too long, it's enough for them to dig into different things about your phone. I'm not playing. That is the thing that we see when people cannot wait patiently to pursue holiness and righteousness, to do righteous living. And they keep coming because they want to get rich quickly. My wife was on the phone. They called my wife, was it last week? And she put it on speaker. I heard the way this American trying to speak her language was talking, you can tell. And I said, cut it off. He said, wait a minute, I want to. Her WhatsApp is already disturbed. She can't log into her WhatsApp. When she tried to reset it, they said there have been so many attempts, and she never attempts. Those people who already been calling WhatsApp, they want to change their password so they can go into her WhatsApp is disabled now. Be careful. They are all over the place. Not all that glitter is gold. All that laugh at you are not your friends. Who you don't know, don't entertain. You know that about 2 hours, the same person called me. The same lady. And I said, oh, I see you are a servant. So I'm sending you back to your master. He said, I said, your diviner will go mad. She calls me and she cut off. Immediately, she cut it off. She calls me and says whatever she said, and she called. They can't stay with me. Fire won't let them do it. Because I won't entertain them in the first place. I said, you're a messenger, but somebody sent you. So your diviner will go mad. She cut off. Be careful. Patience, consistency, and small will break you through to purpose. May the Lord help us. Happy Father's Day. In Jesus' name.